Well, here we go. For the third time in a row, I bought a cart that doesn't run. And this time, in the middle of a snowstorm. That's fun, right? I don't know. Let's check it out. Well, I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, and it was cheap enough that I was like, yep, we'll take it. Because I'm looking for this chassis for the next build. I mean, we haven't even finished the one we're building, but I have a plan for this already. And I'm hoping that it runs because I don't want to have to rebuild all the guts in this. It was listed as needs batteries, so I do have a seat and I do have uprights, but that's it. That's all that it came with. I'm not exactly sure what year EZGO it is. We'll break that down in a second. It looks terrible. It's really cold. It's going to be -6 tonight. I'll get after that VIN and we'll see what year it is, but this is it. It does have all the motors, controllers, and everything. And it just spent about an hour on a highway getting salted. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it here until the roads are at least a little bit clearer. We'll take it over to the car wash, pressure wash it off, and then see if I can get it to run. But right here, we'll have to figure out which is which, because I think they cut the terminals off, but was told it's complete and should run. Needs batteries. That was the only thing in the description, so I jumped on it. It's not horrible. Obviously the rat cart that we're building was way worse than this, and that one now runs. Obviously it needs a battery tray. Kind of expected that. That's typical. But everything else is supposed to function. So we'll break down what year this thing is and go from there. Is the body even on here? Oh, it's on there. Okay. I got excited there for a second. I thought I had all the wheel covers that are EZGO wheel covers, but nope. We're missing that one up front. Looks like the windshield broke off. No windshield anyway. So I guess they just rhino lined it. The thing's kind of covered in overspray, which doesn't really bother me because anything that I pull off of this and reuse would be painted before it goes back on anyway. But when this does get built, it's going to be a different body anyway. it home without getting it too dirty. I cannot wait for summer. I'm so sick of this. Everything I just sprayed is an icicle. So shut the door, let it defrost for a little while, dry out. I don't know, take a nap, have some lunch, come back to this in a little bit. Well, it's a few days later, and I've been messing around with this thing a little bit here and there when I can. So I started off pushing it in here. It just definitely was, the brakes were somewhat locked up. So cracked the rear tires off of it, went ahead and tried to get the brakes apart. The brakes were somewhat stuck onto the little drums. I was able to do somewhat of a brake job on the other one. I basically just took the little retractors and I took the brake shoes off, just kind of cleaned everything up, brought them back all the way in and set the rotor on, not the rotor, the drum, after going ahead and turning the drums, i.e. just using some sandpaper to get all of the big rust off of it. And now this rear wheel spins as it should. So I'm not really worried about an axle issue or something like that. Then I went ahead, I did the same thing with the front just to make sure that the front was good. Took the front little bearing apart. Man, there's huge little nuts on the end of these EZGOs. Never really had one of these before. So went ahead and repacked them with grease. This wheel goes ahead and flies now. So it's going to be a nice roller. It really was just difficult for me to push this thing in and out, as you might have noticed, as I was trying to get it off the trailer. It wasn't frozen with ice. It was just the brakes and the wheels were just kind of frozen. So just doing that so I can roll it around a little bit and go from there. Then I went ahead and started looking at some of the mechanicals. Got into this little go pedal here because the go pedal was stuck. It wouldn't retract. So I wanted to get in and get after that. The mat has all that overspray off of it. So just more or less ripped that off. Obviously uncovered all of this mud that's under here and got into the pedal box. Got some juice sprayed onto the mechanism that makes the pedal go back and forth. And now that pedal does go up and down nice and free. Spent a little time juicing a lot of the brake lines and so forth underneath there. And now the brake pedal also moves around a lot freer. So I probably will have to put new lines in this just because they're really old. They're a little bit cracked and, you know, there's no hurt in putting some brake lines on it. The brakes themselves overall, I probably will do one of those kits where it comes with the backing plates, the shoes, the springs, and all that stuff all as one, just so that it looks like a cleaner look when we put it in there. Because when I do build on this cart, it's going to be soup to nuts, right? All the way down. We're going to do a full strip, totally bare frame, paint the frame all as one. I'm thinking a colored frame. I don't want to go into too far what my plans are, right? I don't want to give it away completely, but I have some good plans for this cart. But one of them got screwed up because I was in a hurry and the listing didn't say either way. It was just 84 EZGO. We see here with the VIN plate, it says J298, so we know that it's a 98 TXT. I thought all of these were 48 volt. I completely forgot that some of them were 36. I started looking around this thing, and inside of here I see 36 volt written on the inside of the body. Look over here at the motor. The motor's got 36V on it. I think it is a rebuilt motor out of Syracuse, New York. And then I popped the cover off just to double check the controller here to make sure it was a 36 volt controller. And sure as shit, this is a 36 volt cart. So that doesn't really mean that it's a waste. I was kind of disappointed at first, for sure, because the idea was after I drove this guy over here and how squirrely it was, I'm like, man, putting this thing on air ride, it needs to just stay at factory speeds. I didn't think that 30 miles an hour might be appropriate for it. So I was like, I'll take the 48 volt guts out of this one, swap it over here, and then I could take that Navita stuff, all that nice stuff that we bought and put over there, and bring it over here when we're ready to build this one. So that's kind of out. But I've looked around at all of the parts that are necessary to keep this thing going, and outside of the motor, you can basically replace everything, and it isn't really that, it's not that bad if I wanted to upgrade it to 48. So we do need to do a battery box, fine. I don't think making it is even cost effective. Buying the metal to do this is cheaper than me trying to go down to the hardware store and buy my own angle iron and build it myself. So we'll buy a battery box and we'll do the floor, and then we'll get the whole frame painted and just kind of start going from there. But that is going to be months from now. We need to get back on that, finish that, enjoy that for a little while, and decide what we're going to do. But we are getting to the point now that we're going to have to start selling something. So in the meantime, I wanted to weigh this dirt. Let's see how much dirt is underneath these mats. Obviously, this was some sort of course cart. So a lot of dirt under that mat. I was scraping it away. It's been sitting here now for a few days, so there's not as much moisture in it. And I brought out a little scale. I figured we'd see how much it weighs. £1 10 ounces. Nice. Well, it's not as much as I thought. Maybe it's because it's all dry now. When it was wet, I bet it's a little more. Well, that wasn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be, but here's something else that's not too interesting. I had a couple of wheel covers and some extra wheels out back that are in way better shape than what was on this, so I brought them up. I'm going to just slap those on there just so it looks a little bit more cosmetically agreeable. I don't know. Rather than this with the giant patch in the side that loses air. Another one of these down there is losing air. That's all overspray. These are destined for the trash, as is this seat. I'm going to keep it for now just to keep the snow out of the inside of it, but we'll throw that back on for now. But all of this is garbage, and really the plan would be, I think I'm going to, for once, buy a complete seat set. Stick that on there. The mat, garbage with overspray. There's my other two wheels over here, so we'll slap these on once we get done. So 36 volt cart. I do not have a 36 volt battery, which is why I'm disappointed. But anyway, if I put positive on S2 and negative on A1, and then jump S1 to A2, I'm supposed to be able to get that motor to turn over. I got my jet ski battery down here. Nothing. Ooh. Am I hearing anything in there? Oh, it's turning. Oh, it is. It's turning the axle over there. All right. Well, the motor works. It's just obviously really weak because I'm only sending 12 volts to it. But it is turning that motor. Here, let me show you. So, motor works. Awesome. All right, let's try the same thing here. I got A1 to S2 jumped. Now, this is free. Come on, stick on there. So, I don't think something happened in here. Like that's tight now, I can't move it, so it's triggering something. Well, so this one, who knows? This is the one out of the cart that we built the trailer out of that axle. No, huh? All right. I just got a bolt stuck in my 10 mil. I wanted to get the stand for the controller off of the frame. 2 bolts broke right off. This one is stuck in. I got one left to go. So there it is. We'll get that out eventually. Which I don't know, man. Maybe this thing is going to fight me. The first bolt I touched on it right here, snapped right off. So I don't know. We'll see if it fights. Anyway, if you're interested in watching me battle it while we try to get this thing apart, let me know in the comments because I'll keep filming some of it. Otherwise, I'm going to button up what we've done here. I'll do it on this side. After I turn it around, I don't want to get any brake juice on the paint over here. So I'll turn it around. We'll do the other side, clean that up, roll it outside, and call it a day for this for now, and get our attention back on our air ride system here. I want to get the air ride in that, get a light kit in it so that we can drive it at night, and a seat, obviously. And that's going to be it, man. Well, we got to paint it. Never mind, it's a longer list than that. So stay tuned is what I'm saying, and I'll catch you guys on that next one. Thanks for watching.